Now, I've actually migrated inside into the house because it's started pelting down with hailstones, and I think it's very distracting and probably very loud. So, the second context in which I find myself is what I would call conscious playing. So, not unconscious like the last one, it would be conscious playing, but it would be critical in the moment. So, this tends to happen if I'm playing a style of music that I'm maybe not so comfortable with, or even a style of music that I am comfortable with, but that involves, let's say, improvisation. Let's take jazz, or a swing. I don't claim to play jazz and swing, depending on who's asking, I suppose. But I understand the genre, and I've played around with it a lot over the years. So if I'm in a jazz or swing setting, I understand enough to kind of get through the gig, and I might understand some of the tunes, I might not understand other ones. And I find what I'm doing is, as I'm improvising, I'm trying to be expressive. I'm trying to bring across a personal feeling in the improvisation. But because I'm very well aware that I still want to sound like I know the style, in my head I'm saying, do that lick here, use that particular type of improvisation here. And it's like a rolling manager in my head saying, do this here, then go do this, and when you get to that section where it goes to this particular chord, go do that, and so on and so forth, which is very methodical and not very natural. But while I'm doing that, I'm also trying to feel it. And often where I feel it most is when it's a necessity. In other words, when I get to a point of a tune where I've either guessed it wrong and realized, oh shit, the chord doesn't go this way, it goes that way, my brain will go, what do you feel like doing here, P? And I'll just do something. And sometimes it can actually be a really, really hit. It can be, that was good. That was a good way of getting out of that situation. And sometimes, and probably more often than not, it's a complete flop. So it's a very conscious way of playing, but it's also critical. So I'm very much trying to lead myself by the hand to get through this kind of thing, because I either don't know the piece enough, or because I don't know the style enough. In fact, I get that sometimes with Antonio, when I play with Antonio, because with Antonio, you have to be always thinking on your feet, because he could do anything, even if you've rehearsed a piece a particular way. So I find with Antonio, I'm trying to straddle that line between listening and being in the music, but also going, right, he's just done that chord, or he's just done this section, or he's gone here with the dynamics, and okay, now I'm going to do this. And I wouldn't say it's completely devoid of feeling, but you're kind of balancing feeling with criticism of yourself and all of that. So yeah, that's number two.